And with me right now from London correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining me.
Good evening.
So, Jonathan, you know, I'm trying to understand, let's say, position of the UK right now. From one hand, you want to be humane and you want to help these migrants to find the best solution. From the other hand, you don't want to have an influx of migrants in your country. So where does it put Britain in this situation that basically all Europe is right now struggling with?
Britain does accept, of course, asylum seekers from around the world who have legitimate claims to stay in the United Kingdom once they reach here because of situations back home which would endanger their lives, for example. However, like all countries, it has borders, and the aim is to keep out illegal immigrants from within those borders. So the question then lies that there are migrants who are coming mostly from Africa, some also from Syria, fleeing from places where there is hardship and war and suffering. They're making this perilous journey sometimes across the Mediterranean, trafficked by people smugglers and criminal gangs, then across Europe, and then somehow or other, against all the odds, reaching the Channel Tunnel and smuggling themselves into that tunnel, crossing into Great Britain at great risk to their own lives. As you heard there in the report, one died last night. This is not the only case. 14 died in the whole of last year doing the same sort of thing. So Britain is in a difficult position. Like all of Europe, it's trying to decide what it should do about these asylum seekers, some of them, and others who are simply classed as illegal immigrants who don't have a valid asylum claim, in order to be humane, but also in order to make sure that the country can cope and doesn't buckle under the strain of illegal immigration.
You know, one really smart man told me usually we are looking always for the solution when it comes to us. Why we're not going back to the source? And the source is in these countries. How come all the European countries, how come Britain and France and Italy are not combining forces together to actually help these people who are coming in their countries to try and solve their situation and make their situation better?
Well, that's a very good point. David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, has emphasised the joint effort taking place between the UK and France to increase security. But that is, as you say, almost shutting the stable door after the horse has bolted. Theresa May, the Home Secretary, today, after she chaired the Emergency Committee COBRA meeting in order to deal with this problem, she said that it's very important to deal with this at the source, that rather than just trying to stop people getting into the tunnel from this camp nearby the entrance with up to 5,000 migrants there waiting for an opportunity, she said it's vital that we look to deal with this before that, so that people's lives aren't risked trying to get into Europe, and so that people can also be encouraged to stay where they came from, knowing that if they do get into Europe, they may well just be sent back.
Yes, Jonathan Sacerdoti, thank you very, very much for this report. Thank you.